You guys have probably all heard about the craze about high cholesterol that took place in the mid 1950s, such as the 1950s and 1960s, when all of a sudden high cholesterol diets were bad for us and we had to keep our cholesterol levels low. Well, it turns out that this is not quite accurate. And we thought before that high cholesterol increases vascular disease. And of course, that's important for brain function because it can lead to vascular dementia when our vasculature is not working properly and when our brain doesn't get the blood supply that it needs. But it's not that high cholesterol per se leads to vascular problems. And so it's really important to understand that cholesterol is actually important, and it's important for the production of vitamin D, for example. It's important for forming our cell membranes around our cells and including our neurons or our brain cells. And it's important. And it's not when it's just important that there's different, it's important to recognize that there are different types of LDL particles, these particles of cholesterol. There's good guys and there's bad guys. And it turns out that when you have very low levels of cholesterol, it actually can cause brain atrophy and can actually cause your brain to shrink and reduce your cognitive performance, preventing you from having the superpowers that you always wanted to have. And so the goal is not necessarily to reduce your cholesterol levels like we thought in the mid 20th century. And so it's important to recognize that there's different types of cholesterol particles. What we want to eliminate is the oxidized LDL cholesterol. That's what the macrophages, your immune cells, see, attack, stick around in the blood vessels, causing plaque, which can lead to heart attacks. That's the type that we want to avoid. It's the oxidized cholesterol, and it's also these small, dense LDL particles that are particularly problematic. Not the large LDL particles, but the small ones. So the particle size is very important. So it's not just that the total amount should be smaller, but it's the type of particle, whether it has been oxidized, and the size of it. And so what we want to do is we actually want to keep our LDL particle number at around 1,000, 700 to 1,000, and you can get that through testing. And you want to have your small LDL cholesterol, the small dense LDL cholesterol, less than 20 milligrams per deciliter. The regular amount for LDL cholesterol that you should have is around 100. And so this is around 20%. You only want at most 20% of your cholesterol to be from small dense LDL. The least, the better, because these are the really harmful ones. And you want your oxidized LDL levels to be smaller than 60 international units. So you want to keep those low as well. But the total cholesterol, you actually want to have, even above 150 mg per dl, because not less than, because if the levels are very small, it can cause brain atrophy. So you want to have, a higher amount of total cholesterol, but you want a very small amount of your LDL to be oxidized and to be the small dense variety.